Bonjour, bonsoir. Non, pas M. Cynthia. Ça dépend côté quoi de nous. Nous voyons un gros coup de salutation ensemble avec vous-même. Et moi, c'est fondatrice Black Autism Coalition. And we have with us Evelyn Alexandre, qui est fondatrice Autism 509. We are very happy that you guys can join us today. This is Koze Otis. So Koze Otis is a show that we have live on Facebook every Thursday, and we talk about our community, especially the Haitian community, about autism and how parents can support their children. And we want to thank everybody for being here. Et nous dit merci avec tout le monde et nous remercions d'être capable ensemble avec nous. Et je nous dis là, nous allons pour nous ensemble avec Madame Evelyn Alexandre qui va saluer nous très bientôt. Mais nous ne pouvons pas pour nous pas suspendre pour pas capable de un gros coup de salutation ensemble avec toute fanatique émission ça nous avons des parents infatigables nous avons Karine nous tout profiter pour nous dire happy birthday to Corinne. That was her birthday. Magdala, that was her birthday as well too. Happy birthday deux parents ça c'est deux femmes jump Black Autism Coalition. Et côté que vous faites partie là dans les soutenir organisation nous, so nous voulons dire happy birthday et aussi à toute l'autre maman yo que vous êtes dans Autism 509, que vous êtes dans Black Autism Coalition, que vous êtes en maman qui est autiste qui l'autre bonne pas de occasion ça nous tout profiter pour nous dire bon anniversaire et encore heureuse année avec tout le monde que nous pas jeune là je dis à nous là pour un invité très spécial que nous allons parler très bientôt. Et nous dit merci avec Yves Pink. Nous pas contre non net, mais nous dit Yves Pink merci qui toujours a partagé l'émission nous pour capable sûr que l'y aller très bien loin. Nous voyons et salutations ensemble avec vous et remercie Madame Yveline.
Bonsoir Sissi, bonsoir tout le monde. Jeudi 9 janvier 2025. Nous dit tout le monde merci. Nous espérons qu'on passe un bon début de semaine. Première semaine l'année gant'a fini. On a rentré nous en deuxième semaine déjà l'année 2025 là. Nous dit tout le monde merci que retrouvez nous encore jeudi pour un petit causer sur Otis et nous dit tout au nom de Otis 509 mesdames yo nous dit nous bonne fête et tout bonne année.
All right, merci. Et je nous fais dire we have a very special guest here with us. It's been so long overdue. She's not only a guest, right? She is my sister, I will say, my sister from another mother. I call her my big sister. Et je nous dit merci ensemble avec tout le monde capitaine de nous et nous avons invité très spécial. Invité ça, non seulement que lui ont invité, lui c'est sœur, moi dis on grande sœur de l'autre maman que lié. I know Raquel for, it's been since before 2020, nous t'ai rencontré. And since I met her, I wanted to connect with her. She's always a busy person. But one day she called me. And since then, we've been inseparable. And I thank you for being in my life. And I know you're going to talk a little bit about who you are. But I just want to let people know you also Len Fellow, as myself. Wish you encouraged to be part of the Len Fellow leadership. And we are as well too both in the Massachusetts Disability Council. As council member, you are a chair. So she is Madam Chair. And, you know, she's doing a great job representing the Latino community, and as well too, she is a mom, okay, a phenomenal mom that is out there not only working within the disability community, but she is giving her all as a family. She's a mom that's cheering her children like myself. We are always in different sports because the kids are always interested in different sports, but as well too, you know, she's beside her husband, being there and being a supportive wife. So there's a lot of roles. I know you're going to touch a little bit, even though we're not going to talk about that, but it's just to show you guys how wonderful Raquel is. That's why we took so long to bring her, because she has so much to offer, and we're going to be seeing her almost every other month from now on. But welcome, Raquel, and I'm going to pass to Evelyn that's going to interpret for us.
Hi everyone.
Hi, bienvenue à Raquel. Bienvenue Raquel, nous dit Raquel Jean Sissi dit li son maman qui gon ti moun qui gon besoin spécial et li même tout li gen livre li écrit Sissi dit nous que Raquel c'est Raquel son membre officiel dans gouvernement. Raquel pas invité, she's a part of the family, so she can come anytime she wants. Li pot ko vle vin. C'est pas que nous pas t'inviter, pas d'invitation, like I say, you can come anytime you want. Donc, nous comptons gen Raquel avec nous aujourd'hui qui pral parler nous de la ville en tant qu'advocate, de la ville en tant que parent qui gagne un besoin spécial, de la ville tout en tant que femme qui gagne condition pâle, qui accomplit en pile bagarre en communauté, en les affaires special need. Donc, c'est un plaisir pour nous gagner Raquel aujourd'hui avec nous. Bon, nous toujours commencé à 1h, 1h11 et nous finissons le nouvelé. Donc, I don't know, Raquel, if you are aware. I think Raquel is aware. She's always on
our live.
Right? We finish when we want, Raquel. We start at 1, but we finish when we can. Bienvenue encore, Raquel.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy, like you mentioned. I always listen to you guys, watching you. You are an inspiration also for myself as a parent, as a leader, as a woman. Sometimes we forget that we are women, that we also have to fight our own battle, and also dealing with situation at work and the community and everywhere. So thank you so much. It's a pleasure, it's an honor. And I say from the bottom of my heart, everybody say, oh, it's an honor, it's a pleasure. No, I seriously feel it in my heart. Thank you so much for having me over here and be part of this.
Rachel dit nous merci que là, Jean tout dit c'est pas juste comme ça lui dit, mais c'est l'enfant que lui dit nous merci, son honneur que lui là avec nous aujourd'hui, hein. Lui dit comme ça que n'oublier le plus souvent n'oublier nous maman, nous militants, nous leaders, nous qu'on oublier gain de l'heure nous c'est fit tout. Donc Rachel dit c'est un plaisir pour la avec nous pour participer dans petit causer sur Otis aujourd'hui avec nous.
And before we start the interview, I had to say that only Cynthia know I have something close to Haiti, which I have a sister. She's from Haiti. My mom adopted a little girl, and she's part of my mom's life now, and they over there in the Dominican Republic. So I have a sister from Haiti, like for real.
Well, Rachel dit comme ça que le oublié avant nous commencer, faut le dire ça li gon seul. Rachel c'est dominicaine mais li gon seul petite maman qui fait Haïti. Donc li gon une relation particulière avec Haïti. Et Rachel, we glad to you.
Moi te voulais juste accéder dans ça dire maman t'a adopté un petit moun Haïti.
Maman t'a adopté un petit moun qui Haïti. Donc Rachel, I would say this is one more link between us, right?
Yes.
Women, the same island, and then the relationship with your mom and your sister from Haiti, advocating, leadership. So a lot of link make the chain stronger.
Yeah.
And we are very happy as we see, and as she's talk about her sister, and you should see the excitement every time. Like when she told me she had a sister, I was like, I was your only sister. What's going on? But and then she's like, you need to talk to my sister. So I ended up talking to the sister, and we build a little bond together as well too. But we want to give a shout out to your mom because that's a big deal, helping others and, bringing them into your home and make them, having that home, their home. And, now this young girl has a family that appreciate and love her. So we really appreciate that.
So Rachel, si dit comme ça que tout le temps, l'on regarde Rachel, Jean l'excité, le l'a parlé de seul, si dit qu'on a petit Jean, jalousie parce qu'elle pensait était lui-même seulement qui se Raquel. And then Raquel toujours dit, il faut parler à sœur, lui créer une relation, lui parler avec sœur Raquel, lui créer une relation, lui dire un peu de respect pour maman Raquel parce que lui toujours bon là ouais monde comme ça qui willing to aider l'autre. Donc son l'autre et on fierté ou une fierté additionnelle pour que il y a de monde qui là qui prêt à aider l'autre.
Thank you, Raquel. And as we are here, as we know, your husband, Raquel Quezada, is such a supportive husband. He's already in there and he's saying tons of blessing with us. So we want to take the time to say hello to him.
Hi, nous connaissons Marie ou là, Marie ou excité, Marie ou sont bons, c'est ça nous les bois des bananes, les camper en poteau mi-temps ou appuyer sous lui, et Marie ou toujours supporte dans tout ça fait. Li gantan là déjà la suivre vagalan, so nous dit allô Raquel husband.
All right. So we're gonna start now. And I know you have a book coming out, but before we get into the book and what leads you to the book, we want to talk a little bit about, you know, your family, your life, so people get to know you. I know I've said enough on Facebook. People probably like, yeah. Sometimes people come to me and like, oh my God, you love Raquel. I was like, yeah, I love Raquel. She's my girl. So, yeah, please let us know a little bit about, you know, your family, and then as well too, you know, we'll get into the book and what led you to write this book, because we know you wrote many books before.
Nous connaissons que écrit un livre, mais nous venons sous livre là avant, mais qu'on y entend mais nous parlons de ou de famille ou qui ça que nous en soyez hein. Et tant qu'on me dit pas connais combien fois me parler ça sur Facebook, on après les mieux dire ou vraiment aimer Raquel. And I told them yes, so nous t'en commencer parler de vie avant nous aller parler de livre de vie en tant que maman, leader et tout, famille et tout.
So I am Dominican. I'm from Dominican Republic. I immigrated when I was 26 to United States, and back up my country, I used to work and go to school for communication. So I used to work in radio and TV. And if you want to do the translation, then I continue.
Yeah, moi vini ici aux États-Unis à l'âge de 26 ans, moi sorti République Dominicaine, moi c'est dominicaine et l'homme t'es dans pays, moi t'es qu'on travaille en communication, en radio.
So since I was little, I really love communicate and talk, like sometimes we're non-stop. And I understand that's part of my you know, ADHD, which I love it. When I get married, my son Sean and I had Scarlett before born with disability, and I replied to God, like, why you do that to me if you know that I like to work a lot in TV and radio? Now I have a son who has cerebral palsy and require my attendant 24/7.
So, l'homme te vini, yeah, j'aime dire que moi me parler, moi me communiquer en pile avec monde depuis longtemps, et moi aimer ça son petit part of ADHD que me gagner, moi aimer ça en pile, moi aimer parler à monde, et l'homme fini me fait petite moi et li sorti avec une disability cerebral palsy, me demander bon Dieu pour qui ça c'est moi, et que me connait pour pral gon temps pour m'a parler à petite moi, j'aimerais me parler à l'autre monde dehors.
So it took me more than 10 years to get the knowledge, you know, a little bit of knowledge here there until I get to the LAM program. And it was about the time that I was thinking, why if we don't have a radio station or radio show or radio program that educate parents about the disability community, why I don't create that in the Latino community? And it took me the graduation from the LAM program and also apply for the Croco Fellow, where parents will participate in and had to create something good for the community. And that's when I created the radio program, Cambiando el Mundo. That was in 2018. Yeah.
Je prends un pile temps pour me gagner connaissance sur disability petite moi me prend à peu près 10 ans et l'homme commence à rentrer dans le programme, commence à informer, m'éduquer, mal online programme et me toujours demander tête moi parce qu'avec background même toujours demander tête moi pour qui ça yo pas fait de émission radio, pour que ça pas fait radio, c'est comme ça me comme peut prendre initiative là pour me faire en communauté latine de Spanish communauté et nous créer de fellowship et que radio programme qu'il a depuis 2018 côté parents qui vini yo partager toute expérience yo.
But before I came to United States, I had to say that I come from you know, family that struggle way before back in my day when I was little. We struggle in the economy situation, family-wise situation. My parents get divorced. Before I get to know my mom and my father, they used to get together. So they get divorced before I born. And then I struggle a lot because my father, he was alcoholic, and then my mom, she immigrated to United States very early, and I had to grow up with my grandmother.
Avant de venir aux États-Unis, famille m'était lutté en pile dans tout problème et au niveau économique, au niveau famille, parce que parents me divorcé depuis avant fête. Toute lutte ça au niveau famille, papa m'était alcoolique. Donc le maman m'émigrer aux États-Unis, moi-même c'est pratiquement c'est avec grand-mère moi levé.
I had to say that every day I had to struggle with, you know, lack of love lack of having somebody to guide me and taking care of me, as opposed to be my mom to be there all the time. I had to wait for an auntie to, guide me when I was like younger, when I was little, and all the stuff that I was struggle. I have, a lot of trauma in a lot of process, difficult moment in my life.
Mwen gen on paket mwen traumatize en pile et mwen pa gen on paket moment difficile dans vie parce que m'étais obligé à lutter à toute bagaille, manque d'amour, manque de support ou pas gen maman avec, donc le m'a levé depuis petit jusqu'à teenager, jeune et pas gen ça so c'est wap tan on m'attend peut-être qui pour supporter so m'te gen pile manque l'en support familial et l'en affection, donc ça fait me lutter en pile.
So
One thing I wanted to say, I'm sorry, I just wanted to add this as I'm hearing your story and all the trauma and everything that you're going through, it brings me back to the story about like the father that had two kids, and the father was an alcoholic, and then one kid ended up not doing what they're supposed to do, and that's what happened. Many times we have things that we go through in life, but that doesn't mean that's that destination we got to take. We can go and come out of it and become a Raquel in our community.
And it's funny before you translator that you say that, because that's one of the reasons when people ask me why you don't drink alcohol, and I say because my father was alcoholic.
Let me say, that's what Sissy and Raquel just add. That's what you call the family pattern. It is not easy to break family pattern, but it's possible to break family pattern. You might have grandfather, great-grandfather, father, mother alcoholic, and you have children who are not, and you have children who are. So, Jean Sissi t'ai ajouté, li dit comme ça que, li te ba oui, soit un papa qui gagne deux petites, papa t'es alcoolique, il se trouve que une non petite yo alcoolique, une pas alcoolique. So, ça nous explique si ça nous les family pattern. Ça veut dire que, ou gen doit papa, grand-papa, tout le monde nan kan alcoolique, et puis gen ti moun qui pas alcoolique, yo même yo choisi on l'autre voie. Donc, et même le gain de trauma, gain gros trauma dans famille, au niveau support familial, au niveau que ti moun nan levé en papa, ou bien ti moun nan levé sans papa, sans maman, c'est grand-mère, mais ça pas veut dire li même tout le grand moun la pral faire même bagarre, la pral quitter petite li, ou bien l'alcoolique, ou quelque soit raison. Donc, en un monde, te vle di family pattern, li très difficile pour casser ça, mais li est pas impossible pour casser family pattern, pour sortir différent.
And we just had a comment from Eve that says that you are not alone, and that's what make us stronger, and we are very proud of you.
And that's why I wrote the book, because I've been wrestling a lot with so many women and people that they don't understand why I had this and why I struggled with my trauma when I was little.
Donc, c'est peut-être ça m'écrit livre lancé sous Edji, c'est pour moi lutter en pile. Avec l'autre fille qui pas comprendre que pour qui ça c'est comme ça m'a pas agi, yo pas connaît à qui quantité trop m'a fait face à elle, c'est pour une raison que m'écrit livre là.
So when I received the diagnosis to have my son with cerebral palsy, I replied again, God, and this is one of the moments that I feel it in my heart like it was yesterday. I asked God, why you punish me again? Why you give me a son with disability if you know already how much I've been struggle since I was little?
Le bon diagnostic que petite moi gen cerebral palsy, moi te pose bon Dieu question, m'te dit bon Dieu pour qui ça va punir encore? Qui ça me fait pour qui ça va punir encore? So bon demander à Raquel, I got a question right there for you. Why you punish him? Because every time we face something big like a diagnosis, it's your faith is the first person you ask why. God, we dare. That's when we dare ask God question. We forget God's timing is the right timing. We forget anything which is done is because God's want. So when you face that diagnosis and you ask God, why me again? You don't punish me enough. That means you consider that without being raised without your mom, your dad, and not having enough love, affection, do you think that all this was like God punishing punishment or?
So you had to, well, I'm talking about 19 years ago, right when I received my diagnosis with my son. So now I see life totally different, right? So I'm there already. I'm receiving the diagnosis.
Let me translate, Raquel.
And you know, me and having so many neglecting abuse that I, gonna talk about in my book. Abuse that is sometimes, make me remind me, every little single detail and make me, like the woman that I am, very strong. I was 19 years ago, still, I was not knowing God. I was not knowing the relationship that I have now. I was not knowing the Father that I have in heaven that I never have in earth. So it was like me not knowing that I have a purpose in life because everything that happened to me, and of course I'm a human, and I had to, ask God, why you keep me, like, punish me, because I was thinking by that time, 19 years ago, that I was punished by God.
Sissy, can you do that part for me? Because I'm doing something next. I'm gonna ask Raquel. Go ahead,
Okay.
Sissy.
I think we're not gonna finish at two.
Okay.
People, Raquel speak Creole, not as fast as Sissy and I. She's there every Thursday. She speak Creole because last Thursday she was talking about the cookies.
Oui, Yveline te pose question, c'est que pour qui ça, à chaque fois que nous avons un moment qu'on prend un diagnostic, et nous toujours dit comme ça, pour qui ça, bon Dieu, c'est ça qu'on fait, moi, pour qui ça fait ça. Et Raquel te répond que raison ça que les mêmes songeaient que les sorti dans famille côté que il était déjà traumatisé déjà, il pas de grand papa que il était supposé gagner, c'est pas comme si dans la ville qu'on y a là côté que les compréhension, on a parlé de 10 petit et à 19 ans, ça fait 19 ans de ça, là ça a commencé à arriver, ça veut dire qu'en pile connaissance que les pas de guetta connaît pour qu'on réétablir relation les mêmes ensemble avec bon Dieu par exemple, connaissance que li te gagné ou pour qu'on gagne qui vient faire réagir, ça veut dire faut nous pas oublier que nous c'est humain, laisse ça yo vinn river une sorte de réaction que nous pas gagné et contrôle de eux-mêmes. C'est ça qui te vient river, qui vient cause ça. Et si ça t'a pas retourné encore, moi sûr que le pape même genre parce que il y a assez de outils qui équipés pour ça. So what I was also adding is
I wanna before we go there, I wanna add something. What you just changed it, what Raquel say. I'm gonna say it, Raquel. Even you speak English, but I believe in cultural connection. So it doesn't sound the same way when you say something in Spanish, you feel it more. So I went to translate. So I'm going to say it in English, in Spanish, and in Creole. Let me go in Spanish first because that's my weakest link. Dice, una bendición puede cerrarse, más la cicatriz y descansar y tocar la renovación del dolor. So it's like, en français, you can say une blessure peut se fermer, mais la cicatrice reste et rien que d'y toucher renouvelle la douleur. That was in ça me vle di parent k'ap tande yo, ou gen dwa gon blessé, pas vrai, cicatrice lan la, mais chaque fois que ou ka toucher li sensible. So in another word, ou gen dwa gon ba tan kou Rachel di an, tout ça te souffri pendant l'âge si moun ni teenager, li pa gen support familial, affection, manque d'amour, li pa gen contact, maman papa la plus, tout ça, tout trauma ça ou le prend. OK, gon temps qui passé, li moins senti, peut-être le vinn réunir à maman ni, y a ABC et puis qu'on y a pam, li fait un petit moun et puis qui au ballon diagnostic, c'est comme si cicatrice blessure. Bien que c'est pas même blessure, mais cicatrice là toucher et puis senti douleur ça ou encore. Li senti douleur ça ou kounya. Son l'autre douleur n'a dit peut-être que y a c'est un diagnostic petit moi c'est pas un diagnostic que pas gen l'amour, pas gen affection, c'est pas ça, mais son douleur quand même. But ça m'ta ka dit c'est douleur te prend avant. Ça yo gen de leurs parents, it is nous really pendant la douleur, it hurt. But c'est après 5-10 ans et puis qui bon, c'est ça qui bâtit en tant que moun. pour gagner résilience, pour gagner, pour face l'autre douleur. So Raquel, you understand? I mean, sometimes you went through all this trauma when you were a little girl, when you were a teenager. No love, no affection, away from your family, right? You suffer a lot. Then now you meet your mom, you start getting up, you advocating, and then you get that diagnosis, right? And then is another kind of pain, but it's still pain. And the pain you went through before, that's built you to be the woman that you are today, to face that diagnosis and go out there to advocate and help others. So
that's it. You got it. You got it. Wrap it up. That's exactly what it is. And like I say, you know, I understand more now that in order for me to live the life that I live now, to know who I am, to think the way I am, of course, it takes me to another knowledge. I went to school, studied psychology, neuroscience. You know, life been pushed me very hard. But I think that the woman that I am today is the result of everything that I've been living through. And what I do now is I bless God. I bless God every day that some type of trauma you don't want to happen to you, and that's why I'm the mother that I am now with my kids, very protected, very like be there. Sometimes I believe that I'm too protected, but not too much. But I also want them to walk on their path and have their process. But as a parents, you don't want your kids suffering or you know, make the same mistake or happen, you know, abuse happen to them the way it happened to you. So so I'm glad that I am who I am today. Is a hard process. It's take me a lot of, you know, a lot. It still take me a lot. But in the end, all I can say is I'm grateful for that.
I was still reading my resume of all. Je still ap li résumé nan sa m'te diyan son proverbe lié que m'te rencontré dans vie pendant m'te 16 ans, proverbe ça toujours marqué mémoire moi, c'est en façon Rachel résumé encore tout bagay she's been through, tout trauma, manque d'affection, tout bagay li vin through, et comment l'apprendre de ça et comment ça bâtil pour le monde lié jodi, maman lié jodi, leader lié jodi, c'est ça lié. So m'te oublié di nou traduction en anglais. Traduction en anglais dit a wound may close, but the scar remains, and just touching it renews the pain. Une blessure peut se fermer, mais la cicatrice reste et rien que d'y toucher renouvelle la douleur. Donc chaque fois que every time you went through something like trauma and all that, maybe you know death in the family, orphan and all that, maybe you know as West Indian we not used to like affection, like the generation, like your mother would hug you. We not raised, some of us we not been raised with all that, all this trauma, living away, a little girl living without father and mother. They are away. All these are trauma, all these are wounds. So, and in other words, and that is funny, I'm not a religious person, I'm a spiritual person and I believe in God. And you know, there's the way God built us. Because I cannot see tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen to us tomorrow. But God see 10 years already.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is that you went through all that to be prepared for today. That's what I would say. So it is not easy, parent. Sissy, go ahead.
It's not easy.
No.
Tell me about it.
Jean-Yves ap di li pa fasil, surtout que lò gon blessure qui te ketan deja. Et nou même Karine li di que espérieux di douleur c'est trauma nou te viv depuis nou ti moun, yo pa jam ka geri, yo manifeste lot jan. One of the thing is we have one of the mothers, Corinne, and we say happy birthday again. She had just mentioned as a comment there, she said the experts had said that the pain of trauma that we survive as children never heal because they manifest different way, especially when we get older. And there are sometimes, as I am getting older, and there's certain reaction people have, I don't quickly judge their reaction because you don't know what the
What
person
they've
has.
been through.
And I know, Ebony, which I love very much, did an emotional class with us when, she talks about her story and how some of these reaction like interact with herself. We see these things over and over again, and it's so glad to hear that from your part. And I know, time is chasing us so quickly because I know I have you till 45, but you got to come over. This conversation is so well. We have to do it at night so we can have more time.
But
Yeah,
that's
and
okay, Cynthia.
and I would add,
I just make an arrangement with my sister. It's a real village to raise a child. So I was like, sending message to my sister, please, I need to finish this. This is very important. I know that I'm touching a lot of people here, and I don't even start to talk about my book or my situation. Please go to school and get my son. So she's gonna do it. Don't worry.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And we say, I know your sister, she's such a lovely person, always there for you. So we appreciate you.
so nou ka wè, nou ka even people, nou ka even senti l'amour sa ki la, l'amour, Raquel, seul, Sisi, et puis ça te pire nan poko même rencontrer so man vi rencontrer le tout. So like the love, we got love in the air, Raquel. So I feel like I have to meet that sister too.
I know.
So what I wanted to add, ça me te vle ajouter parent, sans sa Raquel a Sisi, sot komante yo di an. And you have, like I said, you've been through a lot lan l'âge ti moun ou teenager, on paquet trauma, on paquet problème, on paquet misère, et puis c'est de blessure yo ye. Then now, j'aime di nous pas tester religion, c'est pas ça nous vient parler, mais j'aime di bon Dieu, gen on jan li bati ou parce que li wè pi loin.
That's right.
It doesn't mean ni pas problème. You cannot see tomorrow, you cannot see next week, you cannot see next year. Bon Dieu, we're further than that.
That's right.
Donc, when you're going through something, it's hard. Sometimes, you feel like, okay, better dormir m'pa lever, ou get tout pensé dans tête. And the most important thing, I always said, you get that system support. You get that system support because it is life. You going through it for some hard time. Anyway, even you've been through hard time when you were a child, ça pas vle dire hard time suspend.
It continues.
So you just gotta be, because when you go to the hospital, when you see the screen, you see up and down. That's mean you living. When the line is straight, you dead. So that's mean this is life. Sometime you might feel someone. I do remember yesterday I had a conversation with Sisi. She's like, "You're right. You think you can make the show?" Yes, I can. I say, Sisi, why not? I can, because problem ap toujou la, feeling down ap toujou la, but that's my system support. So by just being on that show today, give me strength to keep going, to keep accepting,
I
and to
appreciate
keep
it. I
becoming.
appreciate it.
We love you. We love you.
This book, ADHD, trauma, and purpose, and how I interwoven my journey is not simple just a book. I want to educate about ADHDs. I want to educate parents. I want to educate mother, adult people that they are still missing the diagnosis. I always question myself why I'm so hyper, why I'm so impulsive, why I always like to do my stuff in this way, why I'm sometimes, have a difficult to focus or to, do a lot of stuff that I always ask myself as I was little, why is this, why this? And like I say, why I'm blessed because I have a son with disability. And I say this also to my daughter. I have, genetic part plays a big role in ADHD, TDAH. And it's, but some parents, they don't being educated. They don't know that one of you had ADHD and that's why your kids had that. Or if your daughter had ADHD, that's what happened to my situation. I question myself. I say, wait a minute. If you have it, it does mean that I have it. And then that's why we never click, because her ADHD, it was about the one is inactive. And mine is the hyper one. So we don't click with people like that. And we always will fighting my daughter, the one she's 25. And then my son, who had 10, he had the inaptitude too. So I have the hyper. So sometimes, you question yourself, there is something wrong about me, why I cannot do this and this way than the people in the society can do it. There's so many questions. In my book will invite you to educate yourself and question yourself, and together I think that we can continue building a strength not only for ourselves. If you have it, go check, go get your evaluation. But if you don't, you're going to be educated to help other kids that you're going to see in your family, or you might see it in the street, or you might see it in your school, or you might see it in your community. And now you understand why that kid acting that way. It doesn't mean that he don't want to listen. It means that he focused or he attended to learn different. And you had to be capable in a way that they can be in that part of their life, cover the need that kid, that person, or that child need in that moment.
Um,
I think at this point you want a translator.
Listen, no, because like sometimes she does it. I didn't want to overstep. I'm always ready.
Go ahead. I was reading
just resume.
Okay. Oui, pendant que nous a parlé, ça te vient mettre moi côté que moi écrit livre moi sur ADHD ou bien THDA. Que va faire expliquer tout à l'heure tout qui ça et tout, parce que grand pile monde qui par contre ça veut dire que moi
just traduit ça pour parents créole yo, c'est ça nous relè hyperactivité, c'est ça relè ADHD, c'est hyperactivité. OK, ouais.
Oui, moi te vinn jwenn diagnostic là pendant que moi grand monde, mais avant ça c'est ti moun moi qui te gen li, moi te gen petite fille moi qui gen li, et puis me te dit si que gen li comment faire moi même tout moi forme gen tout. Et puis pas petite fille non, moi gen ça qui hyperactivité même j'avais Yveline fait tout dire, ça veut dire moun ça yo toujours et en l'air, il a fait ici, il a fait l'autre boy, pas qu'à focus tout ba ça yo li même pas là pas comme ça. Et puis living get si garçon là tout qui gagne même gens ensemble avec l'autre petite fille là déjà même bagay là. Et mais ça qui vient arriver c'est que l'on vient gen ça vient jeune diagnostic ça, il vient aider au côté que on vient pour aller montrer l'autre monde même moi-même qui écrit livre là ou même tout capable c'est en session qu'on capable faire pour capable montrer monde qui ça que lié, et c'est comme ça que il vient apprendre que lié dans le livre que il écrit nous capable joindre plus explication dans qui sens ça y est. What I wanted to add for you so we talk a little bit about ADHD, and I know in Spanish is the same thing for Haitian Creole. That's the same way they say TDAH, TDAH, but they say TDAH. Yes, so it's the same way in Creole. C'est TDAH. C'est pour ça que dit li même en créole too. So please let us know a little bit of explanation. What is that? Because some people here probably don't know or have heard it, because my son has it, right? I knew my son has it through the diagnosis that I have from him. And then sometimes some parents, they say, hey, they're just trying to label my child. These kind of things don't exist. Okay, some of them don't even go and kind of like find the help. It's just they take it different ways. So let us know a little bit what is ADHD. And I know you talk a little bit about your diagnosis. It was through your son, and how the parents can find out what are the signs for parents to look at of their kids, and also the adults too, because you got diagnosed as an adult. What are the signs?
So ADHD is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and it's a neurodevelopmental disorder that affects child and adult. If you have as a child, you can manage, and with therapy, with medication. If you got early intervention, if you have early diagnosis, you can manage when you're an adult. But if you've never been diagnosed, your life is gonna be upside down when you're adult, and you're gonna question yourself, why is this, why can even we're still longer married with a person, or why I like to do my thing this way, why I don't like to go out a lot, why I don't like to talk. Sometimes people over talk, and sometimes people don't like to talk. Why I'm sweating my hand when I'm about to me or go to work. It's so many way, but it's most that affect you hyperactivity, your movement, your ability to be still, like myself. I'm very impulsivity. I trying to react so fast in the way that sometimes I question myself. I'm just like, why I say that, why I act in that way. And But if you had trauma, your environment factor is very, very, very important. If your parents drink alcohol or use drug, if you have a lot of maternal or life when you were a child very stressful, trauma during the pregnancy, or if you are too exposed to lead, the lead, when people move to houses and the painting still had the lead, that can cause too. If you are in environment that you live with toxic polluted, that can also. And if you have also difficult deficit nutrition, and you are lack of social omega, iron, zinc, stuff like that, that can affect also you like who with ADHD. Poor parenting, family environment, family conflict, so many time. Also, people don't know this. Screen time and technology use, social short time, that can also affect, the development to the kid. So careful with that, because sometimes we are tended to be too busy and give it the iPad or the technology or too many television to a little one when the brain is development, and that can also, if we have physical and emotional abuse, if we've been neglect, if we witness it, violence. I witnessing a lot of violence, and I was still talking to my husband about that last night. As a social, such a little kid, that can also make a trauma. If your parents have like a bad relationship, fighting every day, or also being divorced, that can also cause trauma and ADHD. Or if something bad happened to you, for example, it can be a car accident and somebody die, or somebody kill your grandmother or your mother in front of you, or natural disaster, your house is on fire and you lost your house. Stuff like that can traumatize the child. I'm just telling an example how can ADHD can affect also if you have a trauma when you're little. I don't know if you guys want to translate it or
Raquel, si requête très qui ka cause ADHD ou bien ka affecte ton ti moun qui gen ADHD, par exemple violence, si moun n'a pédé ou bien gen de choc, par exemple que ti moun nan involve un accident et puis tout moun mouri dans l'accident, ou du moins de violence qu'a fait la caille, moun yo gen bataille tout le temps, gen jouer tout le temps, tout trauma ça yo ka affecté on ti moun on moun qui gen autisme. Si t'es un petit genre déconnecté ou ka ajouter.
Oui, et puis l'autre bagay que Raquel te dit tout, et nan signe que li te wè a, par exemple, li te kon ap travay, men li te kon mouye, li pat kare te focus, li te toujou vle ap bouger, et puis le nou ap pale de signe gen de ki kapap cause ça tout, c'est li pale de déficit en vitamine, konkou zinc, konkou omega, tout bagay sa yo, li pale de plan tout, des fois moun ap déménager de yon caille pour aller dans l'autre caille côté que gen reste plan qui était dans caille là ça a causé de ça et moi connais que Yveline mentionné de violence là si ti moun nan wè violence côté que maman la bat papa la bat maman li ou bien que le té un monde qui tue li ça veut dire qu'il y a un rapport ensemble avec ça et ensemble avec trauma tout mauvaise relation. Yon nan ba que te ajouté des fois relation ensemble même ensemble avec ti moun. Nous connaît que le confortable pour juste prendre un iPad nous on éclaguer le ba ti moun nan nous gen tablette là on éclaguer le bali et puis tout nous connaît ça résout toute bagaille et relation ça pas vinn développer ensemble avec ti moun nan capable cause ça capable venir li additionner tout ou ka font un mauvais accident qui vient rive autour qui vient traumatiser et vient gain ça tout moun qui mourir derrière nous devant nous excusez côté que nous connaissons grand pile monde dans communauté nous qui est victime de ça. So tout ça c'est signe que nous capables aller là-dedans. The other thing that I wanted to add, because you know within our community we have a lot of the parents, you know, that have difficulty accepting, okay? Because there's one thing seeing the sign and then, you know, finding the solution, because there are some of them that do go, but it's the acceptance, right? How did the acceptance work for you? Because like I know you've seen it towards your children, and how did you go about to say, okay, yes, I'm a little bit older, but I do accept that ADHD is part of my life?
I know it's hard because you know my family, my friend, my community, my colleague from work, you know, my husband, probably my sister, my mom, my grandmother, they don't know about that, you know, and is that okay? You can break that barrier with you, with your son, with your daughter, educate the community. I know it's hard to say, oh, I have a kid who had ADHD or I have a kid who had autism. So it's a big relation. I call them, they are primo. Primo is me cousin. When you had the diagnosis as an autistic and then you had the diagnosis as an ADHD, they have a lot of similarity.
Yes.
And you don't know that until you learn the comorbidity that you know have both. And if you don't help your son accepting the diagnosis, you're never gonna you're never gonna set your son the way it is. You're never gonna educate yourself. You're never gonna get the program that they need to have and the age that they need to have, because sometimes you wait until 10 years and then it's too wait, it's too long, it's too fast to receive early intervention because you never accepted when the child needed early intervention. And I think the more we accepting, more opportunity we help our kids to be better, because there are support. There are a lot of support for any you know diagnosis or condition in school. The school system have so many therapy and opportunity, but if you never accept it, your child never gonna take advantage of that. So never think about, oh, you know, I'm putting a label to my kids just because I accept in the diagnosis. No, you doing worse if you don't accept it when you have to accept it and give it all the opportunity that your child need. And then maybe no need IEP, or he maybe don't need 504, or he maybe don't need a support when he grow up because you help them early. I wish that I can be diagnosed early, but I have so many signs. But my mother or my grandmother, because I grew up with my grandmother, she don't even know. I think I sit down with her still, and she don't even know what is ADHD. So, you know, now that I have the opportunity to do it, to learn, that's what I want to spread to everybody. Yes, that's okay to have ADHD. I can say, or I cannot say that I'm proud. Whatever you want to take it, I can say that I'm proud because my ADHD made me to be creative, to have those tools that I have, having ADHD, and focus in my passion. That's why I create a lot of books. That's why I'm very creative with a lot of stuff. That's why my cerebral can handle too much because I have ADHD. And yes, I have superpower. It is my ADHD.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Raquel. Your ADHD is your superpower. Rachel dit en un mot, ça nous toujours dit dans show, hein. Tout autant pas accepté ou pas qu'à avancer. Donc, tant qu'on dit là que c'est pas au bon diagnostic, c'est éduquer ou sous lit, sous salier pour qu'à avancer. Donc, le plus vite que vous avancez, le plus vite que vous progressez, à bien opportunité. Il dit encore que il souhaitait que il ait un diagnostic bonheur, que il ait gagné dit parce que il t'a vu à grand-mère. Grand-mère, moun yo pas connaît qui ça que dit. Donc, lui même il a opportunité à aller connaître ça lien, éduquer pour qu'à éduquer l'autre moun yo. Tant qu'on dit ya, dit c'est un super power lié. Et dit permettre les créatives, dans tout ça l'a fait. Ensuite, il dit tout que, gonti tout fait entre Eddie avec autisme. N'a pas remarqué dans de livres, on n'a pas de côté, on mettait Odi, A-U-D, A-U, et puis H-D-N-D, that's mean autism and ça arrivait que gen ti moun qui dans le spectre de l'autisme, qui gen ADHD, ça arrivait gen pas gen tout. Mais Rachel dit encore, gen comorbidité, ou bien gen caractéristiques, qui même gens avec un petit monde qui gen autisme. Par exemple, quand un monde qui gen ADHD, qui a gen problème sensoriel, l'indifférence, et qui a gen problème dans attention, et puis qui a un problème émotionnel pour yo pas réguler émotionnellement ou joindre caractéristique ça autour kay ti moun qui gen autisme. Mais moi mes dernier ça Rachel dit ADHD là c'est super power. So c'est pas ouais étiquette là tant qu'on nous toujours dit là sous en chemise ils ont étiquette même sous retirer étiquette là chemise après chemise. Donc diagnostic en condition son label lié li pas ka empêcher avancer pour soyer jodi en tant que Rachel qui maman spécial need li même li gen dit li sont advocate la communauté la éduquer l'autre monde sous li that's a superpower. So on rete sous ça retirer les labels non pas well don't see the label, see the person. The label doesn't define you.
And you know, oh
yeah.
Go ahead. Because I remember the first time that I met you, like you were just like, keep going. And I was like, am I going to keep up with her? Right. And, you know, as I got to know you, you know what I mean? And I started to understand a little bit. I didn't know at that time you had ADHD, but I knew I had to keep up. I was like, you know, and like you said, it's all about how it helps you because just being around you and see how you are moving, it helps me to always be moving in a sense like you got to be creative. What else that you got to put up? Because that was always the question with you. And noticing every time your mind just keeps going. People don't understand that your mind keep going nonstop. And there are times I think like I'm in my house by myself at a certain time, and I go on my phone. Raquel is right up with me, and I'm like, yo, like shit, because I know you're thinking of different things that you need to do. You never comme t'as dit c'est que le me rencontrer ensemble avec Raquel, li c'est ton monde qui était toujours après aller tout bagaille li c'est bien vite pour faire li et me dit comment que moi pral faire ça ensemble avec lui et les moi était venu autour lui pas qu'on connaît que lui fait HDHD but il aime venir autour de lui même moi you know pas que lui apprendre moi c'est que pour me capable faire des choses vite pour me capable créatif moi venir apprendre ça à travailler ensemble avec lui ça que moi pas connais parce que des fois nous compte penser que OK nous gagnons diagnostic c'est qu'on a un déficit que lié oui il y a déficit là-dedans pas dire que le pas déficit là-dedans mais c'est gens que nous utiliser avec support que bon nous Raquel fait se dire un bagage aussi côté que lui dit comme ça si me dégué comme ça puis bonheur il y a plus support que me t'a joindre et ça aller back ensemble avec des fois nous quand joindre un diagnostic ça mais nous n'a traîner et puis nous pas joindre support pour nous bailler ti moun yo j'en nous supposé prendre li qui vient créer un problème parce que les ti moun ça quand on moun ti moun n'a tout sinotis moun n'a dit non ti moun pas autisme et malgré ouais ti moun n'a vinn grand malgré que le pas diagnostic ou ouais tout sinotis là-dedans ça veut dire que gon bagay ko retire dans lui même elle vinn grand moun tout l'a dit même bagay là tout si maman me dégué ta connaît ça que elle était allé elle te prend diagnostic là m'd'a gè plus support grand pile struggle que moi pas t'a gè faire ensemble avec grand pile challenge que m'pas t'a gè.
In another word, the earlier the better.
That's right.
We say that every day, the earlier the better. Even you don't want, I understand when you give your diagnosis, it's not what you want to hear.
Nope.
These doctors, they are crazy. They don't know what they are doing. I gotta go see another specialist. C'est réflexe nous tout gagner parce que c'est pas ça nous voulons tendre. But là, ouais, 1, 2, 3, you have the diagnostic. Yeah. Automatiquement thérapie, ressources et tout, because the earlier the better. you don't want to come, and your child might be in high functioning autism, come in 20 years, sit down with 2 other parents who are doing the same thing that we are doing here and say, oh, I wish in 2025 my mom told me. You don't want that. The earlier, the better. And then see the person, not the label. ADHD, autism doesn't define your child. Petit ou gen caractère, li gen tempérament, li gen potentiel, li gen habilité. That's what you need to focus on. Not in denial, oh, my child doesn't have autism. My child doesn't have. Is not the solution. But is not, don't make a pity party on that because your child, while your child,
pity parties.
pity party. Pendant que on gen ADHD, pendant gen autism nan, li gen potentiel, li gen bagay li ka fe. Rachel, she's a young woman, a mom, a spouse, right? A sister, a leader, an advocate. She had ADHD.
And
I don't see ADHD, I see Raquel, all that.
Yeah. And that's one I want to show in my book, you know, that yes, you know, we can have a journey, but that's, you know, it's not going to make you to have just the label. You can have wrestling and the ability to rise despite your life of challenge. You can self-discover yourself, understand you know, how much you've been struggle and how can you share to other so they can have a resilient with you. You can transform your life, you know, turning pain and power and opportunity. I want to empower other. That's what I want to do. Embrace other through my story, you know, and grow as an inspiration. I want to other to find purpose, you know, in between cows, between you have a kid with disability, between you being struggle a lot, you can find meaningful life. You can have a life with purpose. I want also you healing. It take me more than 44 years to healing. I still healing. I still I had to share something very personal with you the other day. The people that working with me in the book, they sent me the book and I had to review, and at 2 a.m. of course, because that's how my brain work, and this is part of also to having ADHD, a cause, you know, insomnia. Sometimes I cannot sleep. Sometimes my brain just sleep 2 hours, 3 hours, and then the rest of the midnight I'm right awake. So I wake up 2 a.m. and I was reading one of the part when I was very abused, and I was like crying like a baby, and my husband wake up and he's like, you know, what happened? And then I explained, no, I'm reading the book and I living through again what happened to me when I was baby, when I was little, when I was feeling hopeless, you know. But that's part of the healing, because this book took me 7 years for me to write it, for me to like accept him, what happened to me, for me to like, you know, want to share with other, for me to tell it people is a hope. You know, you see me now as a person that doing too much, that I'm doing too much in the community, but that doesn't mean I struggle. I had to healing, I had to forgive, I had to like dealing with my own issues or with my own, you know, disabilities. So in the end of the day, you know, yes, you know, everything happened to me, but look the woman that I am now. But in order for you to see me who I am now, you need to see the picture of what I want to show you in my book, like how much took me to who I am right now. And I think I have to change the title. I like that.
We're coming there. So all that is part of the healing process. Rachel dit que dans livre là, l'autre jour là, il voyé livre là pour regarder avant de publier, et puis il t'est allé lire dans partie qui gagne côté que pendant le petit il était gagne pile abuse, il était négligé, il pile maltraité, and then il commence à crier, and then Marie lui demander ça qui passé, et puis il a raconté Marie tout ça t'est allé vers tout ça t'est passé pendant temps ça, et Marie fait connaître tout ça, c'est healing process. C'est tout ça tout lui dit que mettez là, lui partager juste, c'est pas partager juste pour partager, mais pour inspirer ou tout, pour inspirer ou même cap li livre ou même qui going through the same thing ou gon condition ou bien konon moun qui gagne, tout ça c'est processus pour guérison. Et que l'on aller comme ça ou vinn gen plus wisdom ou gen more mature, là yo dit en anglais you've been there. So ça Kembo continuer Kembo pour avancer tant qu'on dit en garder filier jodi pendant nous chita là ça pas veut dire que le pas gain li style pas gain struggle li style pas gain lutte la trauma li gagne yo mais ça yo tout qui passe ba l'opportunité pour l'écrit pour ka inspirer l'autre monde ba l'autre monde j'arrête empower l'autre monde pour yo vinn ça pour yo yé.
And I know the time is running. It's running like no tomorrow. Like I said, this conversation, I love those night conversations because all parents are there and I know they'll be coming up and asking questions. So hopefully we have a night session talking about that because it's very important that we talk about ADHD, not only, the diagnosis within our children, but ourselves as an adult. Like, we encourage, family members, if you've seen these signs, don't wait on them, find the help that you need with the support. And one thing that you had added, Raquel, is after the diagnosis, your family is still going to be there to support you. Yeah, it might be difficult to let them know at first, but they give you 100%, just like yourself, your husband support you, your children support you. We, as your village, we support you, at any time that you need. So it's very important that people do know that. Another thing that I just want to add, I just want to say, thank you for sharing your story because it takes a lot for someone to talk about their life, something that's supposed to be private within yourself. Now you're sharing it with other people. Now people are going to say, I know this about Raquel, right? So it takes a lot, but what is the, what's that going to bring for other people that's going to be reading this book? How are you going to inspire them? How are you going to let them know not to give up? And it doesn't have to be, I have to have ADHD to read this book. It can be about like, okay, no matter what the situation, no matter what the challenge is, that I can come out of it and I can come out on it on top. So
well, then again, Rachel, you one more person who come. This is inspiring, your story, the person you are, because I've been like, let me admit that I've been a little bit jealous. Everywhere you go on Cece's page, you see Raquel name. Everywhere, every time.
Sister, I love you. I'm gonna give you hug.
Who's that Raquel? So I've been a little bit jealous, but it's like a sister with jealousy, nothing bad. And I'm really, really, really glad to meet you. And I hope soon we will meet in real time. And thank you for inspiring us in the work that we are doing. And also as parents, as women, and as advocate for our community, because we are minority. So we are the last one they hear from. So thank you. And Raquel, I would like to know, Black Autism, you're going to share, Raquel, where we can find the book?
Yes.
You can find this book. And I think that some books, they're like books you read it once and you're done, right? Some books, they are like Bible. Every time you want to go, you remember something. Let's say, for example, I remember something to give me a push for not being depressed. I will go back, read, cry, and remember the woman I met today. Not stay on what is in the book. The book is the story to bring you to the woman and the leader, the advocate you are today. So, parents, mandez Raquel pour mettez peut-être que pral partager non livre là toute information côté pour jeune livre ça. Tant qu'on me dit que gain de livre ou li ou ka mette on côté fin li yo. Mais gain de livre li c'est tant que son biblier li tout près bon tête ou so chaque fois besoin gain de leur cas just sentir down ou te rencontrer Rachel jodi et puis ou aller dans livre là il y a gain ou appeler un chapitre dans livre qui faut crier peut-être qui comparer à même bagarre que ou vivre vous même ou bien qu'il faut compartir avec histoire petit ça le petit mais qui bon espoir tout parce qu'on gain opportunité monde ça qui écrit histoire ça ou elle jodi mais qui filier mais qui ça l'a fait. Donc, moi, je pense que on dit, nous comptons parce que nous, même dans la minorité, nous avons un mode, ça qui pas nous pas fait attention avec eux, c'est leur célébrité, l'autre Le l'autre groupe fin ramasser puis c'est là nous a fait attention avec eux. Rachel is our and then is ours. Donc c'est minority nous gain même objectif parce que le plus souvent nous c'est dernier moun yo tande. Donc on dit Rachel merci que l'on link dans chaîne n'a fait inclusion et acceptance. These are our objectifs. On éducation, a more educated community to be more inclusive, and I say thank you to Rachel.
You're welcome.
And to add to what you were saying, and I it's okay. You guys can be jealous. I don't care. No,
I'm not
but
jealous anymore. Now I know Rachel and I meet Rachel. Rachel is
Yeah.
mine too.
Yes.
no, she's not yours because this one is different. No, but going
I
back,
have a special bond with her too.
Rachel is a link.
Karina.
No,
Where is
listen.
Karina?
Rachel is a link in the long chain.
Yes.
So
yes.
nous chaque c'est un link. So Rachel is us.
well,
we
listen,
are
I
Rachel.
have the bigger link, and nobody's
And then
gonna take the bigger link.
Case close, Rachel is a link. Case close. Next.
So this is what I wanted to say because sometimes people don't understand a relationship and the changes someone can make in your life. And I know I said this to Raquel's group, and I'm gonna say it here in our live show. When I remember, I would never forget the phone call that I got from Raquel. And there are many times, and I know Evelyn, you said that many times. It takes one phone call to change something someone is going through, because you might be crying, going through something nobody knows, and then all of a sudden you get a phone call and it's like, did God talk to you? What's going on? How did you know I was going
And
through
I have
something?
this question for so many of you. Did God talk to you? Did
Yeah.
God tell you to call me?
And
You know what is that I notice when people have a good potential in how I can push them to be better, to be the best version of their life. For example, yesterday she sent me something. I say, you can do better. That's not good enough. And she's like, well, but she did it better. She did it excellent. You know what I mean? So that's what I want from people to also. I wish I have, a person like the way I do with Cynthia. And I have been having so many, but to have somebody close that, because friends sometimes don't wanna say the truth because I don't wanna hurt maybe Cynthia feeling. No, I say, what you sent me yesterday is not good enough for the work that you do. You can do better. And she did. I'm not gonna ask her who did it, but she did it. You know what I mean? So
well, I did it.
she's even better. You see? So that's what I want from Cynthia and for all the parents that also come into the organization and the leadership program. You can do better. You don't have to do like Cynthia. You don't have to do like Elena. You don't have to do it like me. You can do your own version. You can do better than anybody else. And the book is gonna be in Amazon. The book is gonna be this week in Amazon. We're gonna do release on February 20 in Dominican Republic. We're gonna be in Dominican Republic. We're gonna have a celebration with famous people. I don't know who's gonna be there. Maybe
So it's gonna be in Spanish or in English, right?
It's gonna be in Spanish and English. I'm gonna do the release here too. It's gonna be in my website because for those who doesn't know, I'm be writing 9 book. They already in Amazon. If you Google my name, Raquel Quezada, you will find all my book. I've been writing a children book. I've been writing a book for parents in the disability world. And also this one too is gonna be in my website, www.raquelquezada.net. There you can find all my book, and I'm so happy for your support. I'm so happy for your friendship. Thank you so much. This is actually my first interview. There's so many that's coming for this project, for this book. I'm planning to travel a lot. I'm already have agenda. So God have a purpose with this book. And what most important I want is for people to find themselves and get help. Never late. I'm 48. I've been diagnosed when I was 45. Never is late to get diagnosed, and never is late to accept your child or yourself diagnosis, no matter what diagnosis is.
Again,
Thank you,
Raquel, thank
Raquel.
you. As you can see, I was having my head move. It's Raquel's best friend. So my son Ryan is Raquel's best friend as well too. He was so excited, jumping up and down, saying
Aw.
Raquel. So one other thing too, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for um carrying me under your wing. I've never have anybody that does the things that you do for me. I am not gonna lie to you. I had people help me, but not the way that you help. And like you said, for someone to tell you this is wrong, do it right. A lot
This
of the
is your
time
real
we are
friend.
afraid. And then that's vice versa too. There are certain things if I see it, I'll be like, hey, Raquel, I see this. And then you're like, oh, I already know. I'm gonna take care of it. That's the kind of friendship that it is. And that's the community we want to build as parent with kids with disability. Because we're already going through so much already. Like when we surround each other and there's no
It's gonna
competition within
exactly.
one another. We holding hands with each other. We can make this journey more easier for one another. And when something happened to our child, we all can show up. So you
Yeah.
are one of the inspiration, one of the friend, and I cannot say more because if they had me to write a book, that book will be longer with pages to describe the kind of person that you are.
And then I had to say that, Cynthia, anybody had the opportunity to share their story through a book.
Mhm.
Please don't limit yourself. Evelina, I have feeling that you have a good uh, history about your life that you want to share. Cynthia, I don't even have to tell you. 3 kids. You
Three
have
kids
a
and
perfect
four kids
story.
right now. Right
Well,
now.
three with disability. I'm saying that you have a perfect also story to share from your family, from your cultural. Every time we share our story, we
Mhm.
empower others to let them know that they're not alone. And that's, my purpose. We not alone and we cannot work with jealousies with, how because Cynthia doing this and no, help them. We come to this world to collaborate to each other. And that's why I'm like that too, because I have a person that she came from Argentina and I met her in internet. Well, don't get me wrong, not internet like a weird. She been working, collaborate with me for the radio station for the past 4 years. And finally, I never met her in person, but I've been seeing her every time I got the radio program. And I invite her to come to United States. I give her, whatever she need to come over here, and she stay in my house. And I treat her like a queen. And when her mother passed away, I help her over there. I send the money to Argentina. I never met her, so she came here one time and she cried in front of me. She's like, "Why are you so good to me?" And I just say to her, first of all, I'm not a lesbian. Why I'm like that? Because I know what it mean not have family. I know what it mean not have money.
You've been there.
I grew up with no food. Sometimes I was hungry. Sometimes I only had one shoes. I know, and that's why I think God is rewind me so much with so many people like you guys, because I know where I'm coming from. And that's why I always share my story. And I never gonna forget, because if I forgot where I'm coming from, I don't know where I'm going.
Mhm.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why I was saying God was building you up for today.
In a hard way.
It's in own way. It's in own way. It's not what you would choose. Anyone would not choose trauma, no family. No one would choose that. But that was building up you for the woman, the leader, the advocate that you are today. And again,
Evelina,
Sarah,
I was
it
I
was
was
difficult.
walking, I was walking long period from my house to another place looking for water with the bee thinking in my head and 2 gallons of water. And I was 9. And I was crying in the street by myself looking for those water. And I was replying God when I was 9. Why you leave me alone? Why I'm living this life? But I'm blessed. I have a beautiful family. I have beautiful life. I'm not rich, but God give me food. God give me life. Give me shelter. It's too cold right now, and I'm sitting in my house. Well, in Cynthia's house, and I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Um, well, Raquel dit comme ça que li songe petit, l'ol te qu'on a voyagé un beau kit sous tête, li 2 gallons l'emmène ni pral d'aide, l'ol te gen 9 ans, et puis qu'on a dit bon Dieu pour qu'il soit fait passer toute misère ça yo. Li dit kounyan que li béni, li pas riche, mais bon Dieu bal de quoi pour manger, li couvri tête, li pas riche. Donc parents encore sont l'autre histoire qui peut inspirer nous, pas seulement en tant que nous connaît en pile là nous. C'est seulement la caille ou bien là île parce que République Dominicaine Haïti sont seuls, ils n'en a fait ce même bagarre. Nous gagne en pile qui fait ce même bagarre. Nous gagne qui vini pour aller mieux boy ici. Qui style a fait de qui ça m'a mangé demain, qui ça m'a fait leur gon priorité pour acheter un rad pour ou acheter le pour ti moun nan. Nous style a fait son paquet de bagaille. Tant que si dit malgré n'a fait tout ça yo, c'est la vie yo. Life is up and down, up and down. L'essentiel, c'est gon bon cœur, gen bagay ou pas gen lan cœur, bon Dieu ap guido côté pour le guido, là côté pour le métaux là. Well, m'bagay rien m'ajouter parce que Rachel Assisi dit tout ça gen pour dire on seul bagay, one thing I can tell you Raquel, you do not know, but I thank you. I will not tell you how much, but I really thank you. I needed that. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And again, thank you. And I think we should have a show every month. We gotta talk about that because I'm loving it.
I think the world would kick us out. Some show intime bundage. This now, right? It's right there, intimacy. When someone come and tell you a part of it, when I say intimacy, I don't say intimacy, man. But when it's really intimate, when someone give you a part of his story, his own story, histoire la vie, l'on moun chita li raconte ou. Parce que ça c'est confidentiel. But l'on moun vini just to inspire others. That person put a story public. This is big.
Yeah. And you have touched so many hearts today. And like I said, Evelyn said an intimate moment, and then also a show every month. You should come out. We love having you here.
Jonathan say, I love that beautiful lady. She's my queen. Thank you, King. Thank you, King, for borrow us your queen today for almost 2 hours.
And then I'm gonna say this online. We are sending a special invitation for Jonathan because Jonathan represents the men. I have to say, right? We need to hear from him because many times we have told our men to step up their game, and he's such a great example going out there, going to different marathon with his son, and then supporting his wife, being on IEP meeting. And I'm gonna let you know, men, he wasn't like that before. So you definitely need to come and tell your story here. We have a whole many people for our shows that we don't even.
Rachel, you inspire. I cannot wait for you to hear from Jonathan. Jonathan, you there? You next.
And thank you everyone, and we'll see you guys next Thursday. Within 2 weeks, we're gonna have Diana with us. That's gonna talk about basic rights. So nous parlons le jeudi encore, et nous connaissons que Diana passe avec nous pour parler droit nous et comme parents et pour nous capable venir pour nous capable tendre. Nous dit merci ensemble avec Raquel qui te font beau travail expliquer. Nous connaissons que il y a plus dans l'histoire là. Moi fait ça dit, il y a Marie Jonathan tout que nous porter en invitation spéciale pour lui comme papa qui dehors a courir avec petite li qui au bon côté madame ni cap supporter et plaisir nous tout, il pas comme ça avant, right? C'est là que lui ouais tout un challenge madame ni a fait, il vient réaliser il pas qu'à quitter madame nan pour côté faut bon côté pour supporter so bon là va venir pour monsieur tout venir tout pour yo capable tendre bon gens travail Jonathan a fait et nous comptons encore après et l'autre jeudi prochain Evelyn a passé avec nous et puis m'pa connait si m'a là tout non Evelyn simplement bon là pour tout but we'll see. À la prochaine, bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Bonne fin de semaine tout le monde. Bye.